Delighted to be speaking with one of the best prospects in the UK and Ireland, Jack Shore, who's had an absolute roller coaster over the last couple of months, and it's even got worse a week out from his fight. Now scheduled to fight Liudvik Sholinian, I believe the pronunciation is, after Ziviad Lazishvili pulled out. And also, obviously, before that, Saeed Nurmagomedov a couple of weeks back as well. Jack, what a wild week, man. Can you sort of talk me through all this? Because it's absolutely bonkers what's been going on for you.
Yeah, it's been it's been mental. So when did Saeed pull out? He pulled out about 2 weeks ago. So UFC said we're looking for a replacement, and then obviously last Wednesday, then they came, or Tuesday, sorry, they came to me with the Georgian guy. I can't even pronounce his name. I'm not going to try and butcher it. So they came to me with him. As per, I just said to Graham, look, just get it signed in. We're done at this stage. I'm not asked to just get it signed in. So we flew out to Vegas then this Wednesday. So we're talking 7 days later or 8 days later. As I landed in Dallas for the connecting flight, I had a text off Graham to say he's pulled out. We're looking for someone else. And within an hour, we had the next guy in. So it's been a mental few days, to be honest.
Absolutely bonkers. How does that, is there reservations on your side from actually taking a fight? Because it obviously must be a pain in the ass trying to prepare for someone different along those terms for yourself and your dad, Richard. Was there any reservations about, taking a new opponent again?
No, to be honest, there wouldn't have been anyway, but the fact that I was in Dallas ready to come here, I didn't have a lot of choice regardless. But no, I would have took it anyway. I've took fights on 5 days notice, 1 day notice with an opponent change. So it didn't make a difference. I've just trained so hard and put so much into the camp that I wanted to make sure that I get a fight, especially when you're on your way out and you get that type of news. It's I'm not turning back now. I'm going back to Wales and then doing this again in a couple of weeks' time. I want to fight now. I've trained for this date. I've worked so hard this date. I've managed it so that I peak, around about this week. So it was just a matter of get anyone, flyweight. I even said to him, I'd go up to featherweight. I was like, I'll go up to featherweight and fight the featherweight, 145 or 140 catch weight. Just get me someone. It's I need to fight on this date because that's what I've trained for. I never turned down. I think, to be honest, right, with the UFC, this will be my fourth fight, and I think I've had 10 different names in 4 fights, and I've never once said no to any of them. You can ask Graham and Sean Shelby, they'll vouch for me on that one. It's every single time they give me a name, it's just let's just send me the contract. So people maybe need to start taking a leaf out of my book and start getting on with it a bit more. And again, when you sign to fight, unless you're severely injured or it's a visa issue, let's get in there and fight. There shouldn't be none of this. It shouldn't be. There's no need for the extra stress. Yeah,
because it's interesting with Lazishvili, because the guy's been signed to the promotion to fight you. He hasn't obviously fought with the promotion before, and then he's cut from the promotion after he's got injured. So do you think there was a pre-existing injury there, something coming in where he knew he wasn't going to be able to fight and just sort of jumping at the chance of a contract? That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he was either sort of, I don't know, like you said, he's saying online he's got an injury, so maybe he was carrying the injury when he had the call and just thought, look, we'll take the fight, get our contract, and then pull out injured. Or maybe it was, they took the fight, had a couple of days and looked into me a little bit. I don't want to sound like that guy who's blowing smoke up his own ass, but maybe they looked at a couple of my fights and thought, stylistically, this is not a great fight to go into to your debut.
I did actually look at his record, interestingly enough, and up to I think his 8th fight, and I think he's only had 10 or 11. Every guy he fought before that had a negative record, so maybe he did reassess that and have a look at that. But is there a genuine problem getting you booked, though? You've said 10 names. It's pretty wild, and it sort of feels that way. Everyone knows how good you are, and I think Bisping called you the Welsh GSP. That's how highly you're thought of on this side of the pond. Is it a genuine problem for you getting booked in fights?
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to make I'm this boogeyman in the division and everyone's running from me, but you looked at 10 different names in 4 fights is nuts. I think the only fight I didn't have a pull-out on was the last fight. Hunter was the name I was given originally, and that was the guy that I ended up fighting. So, I don't know. I don't know why. We're in the UFC. this is the elite of the elite, so called. So every single fight's going to be tough. I don't see how people at this level can look at, like, you know, when I had the contract through for Nurmagomedov, I didn't look at that and think, oh, is it, you know, that's an easy fight. That's a walk in the park. Of course, it's a tough fight, but you know, if you want to be the best in the world and the best in your division, then you've got to prove it. Eventually, you're gonna have to fight anyone anyway. So that's my outlook on it. And you know, maybe people need to start just. I don't know, if they don't want to fight, then you shouldn't be signing with the UFC. If you don't want tough fights, don't sign you. That's my attitude on it. Again, I'm not saying I'm this guy who's everyone's afraid of, but there seems to be a pattern emerging.
Yeah, but definitely does. How tough is it? Maybe motivation's the wrong word. Maybe is there a little bit of sort of anticlimactic sort of feeling? Because obviously, as you said there, the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight was a really big fight, and I think everyone was looking forward to that. I think he's lost maybe one fight in the UFC, but obviously he's touted as a high good prospect as well as yourself. Was there any sort of anticlimactic feeling at the moment?
No, man. It's like, look, I'm not one of them guys. I don't like I'm not loudmouthed. I don't pick and choose. I'm not calling for all these fights. Like, it was a great fight, and I was really excited for that one. I think it really would have got my name out there because I know he's not related to Khabib, but being who he is and with that type of name, you know, I think a lot of people would have been watching the fight. But like I said, when I signed the fight on a date, I don't want that date changed. I want to fight on that. As long as I can get to the fight, I'm not injured, and I want to fight that date. So as long as they could get me someone, you know, I was obviously disappointed originally, but I was like, look, are they going to be able to get me someone on 2 weeks? And Graham's obviously very confident they would. So as long as they get me someone, the feeling's the same, the goal's the same. It's just another body in front of me. Obviously, you know, I've gone from now fighting a good level striker to the last guy who was a good level grappler and wrestler to now a guy who's a little bit more sways towards the wrestling but can strike as well. So obviously it changes up stuff for the game plan and that, but it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm a fight this fight. That's why I've always been brought up with. The attitude in my gym has always been fight this fight. So, you know, it is what it is. We're still getting on the fourth, and we'll still go to war and put on a show.
What did your dad say about that, Richard? Obviously, the great Richard Shore. You know, I'm sure his head is absolutely melted as much as yours with all the changes. What was his input in the whole situation?
He was quite relaxed, to be fair. He said, look, especially the first time, he was like, look, we've still got 2.5 weeks to get you somewhere. And obviously, he didn't let on, but I think when we was in the airport and we had to pull out, panic was starting to set in a bit. You know, I was stressing out a bit, and I was starting to get all arsey and be like, look, it needs to be this date, and then I don't care, just featherweight, whatever, just get me a fight. But he was pretty calm. I don't know what he's like on the inside. He was probably stressed as well, but him and Carl, my two coaches, because they're so, like, they've had so long in the game, they're proper old school guys, so even if they was worked up, they wouldn't let on and let me know and let it affect me anyway.
Definitely. I want to go back a little bit to the Hunter Resort fight, and obviously, you know, the judging in there, it was a split decision. And how much of a worry is that? Because we've seen with some of the Vegas cards, and I don't want to go naming judges. I think we all know a certain judge out there in Las Vegas that has been scoring some pretty wild scorecards, including the Paul Felder RDA fight, where he called a fight to RDA for Paul Felder in some wild world that he lives in, but. You know, it's becoming a big worry, some of the judging, and especially, I think, stateside. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, it's definitely an issue, isn't it? Like, especially these Vegas cards, there seems to be a few dodgy decisions. Like you said, my last one, there was the split when I think pretty much everyone else thought that I'd done enough to win at least 2, if not 3 of the rounds. Yeah. So it is an issue. It does make me think going into this one, you know, don't give them that chance to fuck it up for you. You know what I mean? It's, when you're dealing with, you know, a win doubles your money, and obviously in a division like mine where it's so stacked, I need to keep winning to keep progressing up that ladder. So I'm definitely going into this one. I go into everyone looking to finish, but you know, sometimes during the fight you sort of think, right, well, I'm 2 rounds up. If I can just do enough to win this round, then obviously it'll get me the decision. This one, you know, I'm going in there to finish. I don't want to even let the judges come into it, especially after last time. So it is definitely an issue. You know, it does seem to. I don't want to just single them up, but it does seem to mainly be the Vegas cards. Yeah. But you know, this one I'm coming in there to put him away. I'm not gonna even let a decision, the thought of a decision enter my head. You know, if it happens, it happens. But my mentality in this one is come in there and get him out there, whether that's first, second, third round. But we got to get that finish.
I know you really want to sort of push on in the next, by the end of this year, but obviously with the change of opponent as well, does that sort of mean that you'll probably have to get in there maybe once more, twice more before you really sort of get up to that sort of top 5 level where you want to be by the end of the year?
Yeah, probably. He's obviously going to push things back. I've gone from fighting a guy like Nurmagomedov, who's a bit like myself now, on the cusp of getting that ranking, to now fighting a guy who's coming off the Ultimate Fighter. And I'm not underestimating him or overlooking him. He's still a good level guy, but he hasn't fought in the UFC yet. So a win here is obviously not going to do as much for me as a win over Nurmagomedov would have. So, it'll probably be another fight after this one. But you never know. Perhaps the fact that that I've dealt with the opponent changes and haven't questioned who I'm fighting, have just sort of said, "Get me someone." Maybe that'll stand up well with them, and perhaps I will get that shot at someone who's ranked. But whatever, like I keep saying, fighters fight, and I'll fight whoever they put in front of me, whether that guy's ranked 5, 15 or 50th.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. And I think it's the right attitude. I think we see a bit, and I mentioned the other day in a previous interview I did that, you look at the welterweight division and it's very sort of stagnant who's going to fight who, and I think the bantamweight division is obviously a lot more sort of activity. But listen, I have to ask you, are you happy with your placement on the card? Do you know where you are in the card for this fight?
I think I'm just below Molly. I think Molly's on the prelim main event, and I think I'm one below Molly. So it'd have been nice to get on our main card. And again, I think if I had fought Nurmagomedov, it would have been on the main card. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Originally, I think we was the one below co-main, but obviously with the opponent changes and everything. But it's only a matter of time, Eventually, I'm going to get our main card slot, and I believe once I'm there, I'll be a regular on there. But all these outside things, they don't affect me, to be honest. I don't look too much into where I am on the card. The fight still holds up the same. Still get paid the same. It's still the same guy. So yeah. I could be first on or last on. I'd still approach it the same way.
I have to ask you this, and there's obviously a lot of super talent coming from the UK at the moment, especially. You look at the guys in Wales as well. Obviously, Mason Jones has had a couple of very unlucky fights in the UFC. I think everyone will agree that he definitely won the last fight anyway. It was just unfortunate the way it ended. But are you up there with the very best? Do you believe you're the best unbeaten prospect in the UFC from the UK?
Yeah, I think so personally. It's easy for me to say, of course, but I know you've got guys like Leon Edwards, Arnold Allen, Darren Till who are the main front runners, and they are tried and tested in there against those top 5, top 10 guys. So I'm not by any means saying that I deserve to skip over those guys, but I without a doubt think I'm one of, if not the best prospect coming out of the UK. But it's just so the UK, the talent the UK has got in the UFC at the minute is so talent stacked.
Brilliant.
Even Wales on its own, with me, Mason and Corey. So we are really leading the charge. I think it's the strongest sort of time for UK MMA within the UFC at the minute. We've got so many guys who are at the top, like the 3 I just named, or guys who are capable of going on to being at the top as well. So I'm just happy to be in this sort of time period, in this sort of generation of fighters where they're not looking at us UK guys nowadays as an easier fight, or I'll just take him down. They're looking at every one of us and taking us very seriously. So it's a privilege to be in the mix with those guys, especially the likes of Till and Leon and all. I sort of grew up watching them guys when I was a bit younger. So it's a good time for me to be in the mix with them all.
Is this the push? Is this the start of the push in the next sort of 18 months to 2 years for you right up towards that goal, do you feel?
Yeah, I think so. Again, they keep harping on about the Nurmagomedov fight. Obviously, that would have done a lot more for me than this guy in terms of pushing me. But once we get this ball rolling now, we've got a bit of activity back this year, and especially with the world opening up, there'll be more opportunities to fight in certain areas of the world. Hopefully, come back to the UK. So I think when we come back and I fight in the UK, we'll sort of get our push a bit more, because they'll see the fan base and the following I have over there, and then I think they'll really get behind me. But I'm just grateful to still be able to fight in the state that the world's in at the minute.
Forget the UK, Jack. They owe Dublin a card, first of all. They owe us that.
They do. No, they do.
That Darren Till fight.
To be honest, I wanted, when they announced that Dublin card, I thought, right, that's a bit of me. I went to watch a Dublin card when I was an amateur, my old man, when Duffy was meant to fight for
Oh,
it.
yeah. Good old Joe.
I think Paddy Ulan main evented in the end. And I remember the atmosphere being insane and thinking, one day this will be the place to come. And the minute they announced it back, obviously before the lockdown, I thought, right, we're going to do our best to get on that one. But obviously it weren't to be. But let's hope they go back to Dublin sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
hopefully beginning of the year. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Beginning of next year.
Bloody big time. It'd be great for everyone. I think Bellator have a card planned, but we don't know with the Irish government, the way they really haven't sort of opened up an awful lot of things. But I was sitting there in press right on. It was Paddy and Louis Smolka. Duffy was supposed to be fighting Poirier, I think it was, that night. But
that's right. Yeah.
That was wild stuff. That was a wild night. I have to ask you this because I saw your dad tweeting about it, and I do agree. And listen, a lot of guys, I think, in the UK and even in Ireland from mainstream outlets should be getting a lot more coverage, and they're not. It really is pretty sad at the moment to see guys like you and other guys like Mason Jones not really getting the love from the mainstream outlets they should be getting. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it definitely winds him up more than it winds me up. But it is annoying, obviously, like the amount of bullshit stories you see him put out.
Yeah.
On just pointless shit within sport, and it's like, well, you haven't got like 20 minutes to do a little piece on me or Mason who's fighting it. It's like the Premier League of MMA. That's what I try to explain to people. It's like probably less than 1% of people who sign up to an MMA gym are ever going to get the UFC, and it's like as if they want us to beg them for a bit of attention. So it's like. And then fight week comes around, and they know they can get the most click fight week, and they want to speak to you a day before the weigh-in or the day of the weigh-in, and it's like you got to keep everything on their schedule. And then when you try and speak to them a couple of weeks out from the fight, they don't want to know. So it is annoying. It's like, give us a bit of fair play. We've all grafted so hard for years, and the MMA media is brilliant. It's not a tarnish on them at all because they can't do enough for us UK guys, but. The likes of like BBC and ITV, it's like I remember they filmed me before my debut when I signed my debut, and then like I think they put the film out a year odd later, and it's like, fuck me, come on, do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know, they do piss me off a little bit. So, and what the most annoying bit is you get a number one contender fight or the title fight, or you bring a show to the country, they'll all want to know then for 6 to 8 weeks, and that'll be the time I'll be saying to them, go on your bike.
Good man, Jack. Good man. One more I got to ask you. I know your old man was tweeting about it today, and I see you where you said you're going to watch football again. Cristiano Ronaldo is back with Manchester United. I know, I'm delighted. I'm a massive Manchester United fan, always have been, and I know your dad used to be anyway, but it sort of got you back into football, I believe, yeah?
It will do, definitely. I remember, I was a Man United fan as a kid, and my old man was always a Man United fan, and I grew up sort of watching Ronaldo. He was like this superwoman, banging the goals in, and he was just a machine. So obviously he went to Madrid and stuff like that. I got more into the fighting and everything. I just did stop watching football really, apart from a couple of the local teams. So to see him back at Man United is like reliving my childhood again. So I'll definitely be tuning in this season a little bit more now that he's back in the red jersey.
480 grand a week is the reported salary, Jack.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Fucking what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? What did we just do with 480 grand a week? Unbelievable, man.
I'd be happy with 480 grand a year.
I'd be happy with 480 pound a week. Come on, 9 grand. Listen, Jack, absolute pleasure. Say hello to your dad for me as well. And listen, looking forward to the fight as always. Great to see you back in there, and hope everything goes well. Appreciate the time, my friend.
Top man, no problem.
See more videos like this. Do hit the subscribe button and also the notification button so you don't miss any future updates. You can also catch us on social media, and also give the video a thumbs up. It does help. Thanks, guys.